Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to explore Raigad Fort. It's this incredible stronghold, really, that became the absolute heart of the Maratha Empire. It's much more than just stone and walls. It's packed with symbolic power, strategic thinking. And in this deep dive, we're aiming to pull out the key nuggets from the source material you've shared about Raigad. Our goal isn't just to know what it was, but really dig into why it mattered so much. To Shivaji Maharaj and the whole Maratha Empire he was building. Okay, let's unpack this fascinating piece of history. So let's start right at the beginning, its name. Before Shivaji Maharaj, it wasn't called Raigad, right?
No, that's right. It was originally known as Rairi Fort.
Rairi, okay.
And Shivaji himself renamed it Raigad, which quite pointedly means Fort of the King.
A clear statement. And where exactly is it located, for those trying to picture it?
It's in the Raigad district of Maharashtra state, deep in the Konkan region.
And it's high up.
Oh, yes. Impressively so. About 2,700 feet above sea level. It really dominates the landscape. And, even before Shivaji captured it, its strategic value was, well, obvious.
How so? What made it stand out?
Well, first, that hilltop position. Steep cliffs all around. It made it incredibly difficult to attack a natural fortress.
Right. Hard to assault.
Exactly. And second, its location relative to the coast. It was close enough to influence, maybe even control, the sea trade routes. Very important economically.
Which does make you wonder, like you mentioned, how did such a valuable spot end up described as semi-ruined?
That is the interesting question, isn't it? It suggests potential that wasn't fully realized before Shivaji.
So who was holding it before him? Who controlled Rairi?
Before Shivaji, it was under the control of the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur.
Okay, Adilshahi.
And the local administrator, the Killedar, was a man named Rajchandraji More. He was a local chieftain, basically managing the fort for the Adilshahi.
Got it. So a local power under a larger sultan.
Precisely. And the sources emphasize that even in that semi-ruined state, it held great potential.
So the location was just too good to ignore, despite its condition.
Exactly. It was like a prime piece of strategic real estate just waiting for someone with the vision, like Shivaji Maharaj, to see what it could become.
And that vision became reality in 1656 CE. That's the year he captured it.
Yes, 1656. He took it from that More family of Jawali we just mentioned, who were vassals of the Adilshahi.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, as you pointed out earlier. The capture itself wasn't just a straightforward fight, was it?
No, not at all. It wasn't some long, drawn-out siege. Shivaji's approach was, frankly, quite brilliant.
How so?
It was a mix. Diplomacy and direct attack. He launched a very specific campaign, and part of it involved accusing the Mores of betrayal.
So undermining them politically first.
Exactly. It weakened their position, maybe their local support, before he actually attacked. Then the military move was decisive.
And fast, you said.
Remarkably fast. The whole thing, taking the fort, it only took a few weeks, which really highlights Shivaji's tactical skill, his ability to blend that political maneuvering with swift military action.
Okay, so he's got the fort. It's strategically brilliant. But how does it go from being just a fort, even a key one, to becoming the capital? Why Raigad specifically?
Well, that strategic location we keep talking about, it becomes even more important now. As a hill fort, that 360-degree view, it made it nearly impregnable. Perfect for a secure base, a capital you could defend.
Makes sense. Defense is key.
But it was more than just defense. That proximity to the Konkan coast, that gave him control over vital trade routes. Access to the sea meant access to trade, wealth.
So economic power too, funding the empire.
Absolutely critical for funding his vision of Swarajya, self-rule, the independent Maratha kingdom.
And that all culminates in 1674, when it becomes his official capital.
Yes, that's the pivotal year. His grand coronation, the Ragyabhishek, was held there. That's when Raigad officially became the capital. And it wasn't just a title. It became the administrative heart. The Rajya Sabha, his royal court, was established there. That's where the big decisions were made.
Like a nerve center.
Exactly. It housed the state treasury, huge granaries. These weren't just buildings. They were symbols of the wealth and the self-sufficiency of his independent kingdom. It really solidified its role as the administrative core.
And that didn't just happen instantly after the capture. You mentioned a period of intense development.
Yes, roughly between 1664 and 1674. That decade saw a massive transformation. Shivaji poured resources into making it a true capital.
What kind of changes are we talking about?
Major ones. He didn't just patch things up. He completely rebuilt and expanded. Stronger walls were constructed, new gates built. The Maharaja, the main gate, is iconic. It wasn't just functional, it was a statement.
Impressive. And inside the walls.
Inside, the Rajwada, the royal palace complex, was built. This became the center for everything: the court, meetings, the king's own living quarters.
Okay.
And crucially, that special coronation platform, sometimes called Nagar Khana or Raj Sabagruha, was constructed specifically for the 1674 ceremony.
Purpose-built for the coronation.
Yes. And beyond the grand structures, think practicalities. Secure chambers for the treasury, large granaries for food security. It showed real foresight.
And you mentioned religious structures, too.
Indeed. The Jagdishwar temple was built inside the fort, adding a spiritual dimension. And later, after his passing, his own samadhi, his memorial, was built there too. It was a complete vision for a capital city.
Now, Shivaji Maharaj obviously drove this vision, but he wasn't alone in this massive undertaking. He had a team, right?
Yeah.
Who were some of the key people helping him capture and develop Raigad?
Oh, absolutely. It was a significant team effort, showcasing the talent he gathered around him. Well, there was Morapant Trimbak Pingal. He was the Peshwa, the chief minister, kind of like a prime minister overseeing a lot of the planning and the construction.
Okay, the administrative head.
Then Hiroji Indulkar, he was the chief architect, the man responsible for the actual building, the forts, the palaces, that vital coronation platform, the master builder.
The architect. Crucial.
Definitely. You also had Kavi Kalash, an important advisor and administrator. He even helped design some of the complex court rituals, which were important for establishing the new imperial identity.
Interesting. What about the finances?
That was Anaji Dado. He was the revenue officer responsible for setting up the fort's economic system, making sure it was sustainable.
Right, got to pay for it all.
And militarily, Yasaji Kank was a key figure, providing military muscle and heading up security for the fort.
And Shivaji's mother, Jijabai.
Yes, absolutely. Jijabai played a significant role, too, especially in the rituals and the overall administrative ethos. She was a guiding force.
Wow, so a real convergence of different talents, military, financial, architectural, administrative.
Exactly. It really highlights that building this capital, building the empire, was a collaborative effort, pulling together all these skilled individuals.
And all that work, all that vision led to some major historical moments happening right there at Raigad. Let's just quickly recap the key dates for our listener.
Good idea. The timeline really tells the story. So 1656, that's the capture. Shivaji takes Raigad, sets the whole thing in motion.
The beginning.
Then 1664 to 1674, that decade of intense development, transforming it from just a fort into a capital.
The building phase.
1674, the big one. Shivaji Maharaj's grand coronation, the Rajyabhishek. This is the official birth announcement of the Maratha Empire, really.
A landmark year.
And then 1680, a more somber note, Shivaji Maharaj passes away on Raigad Fort itself.
A poignant end to that chapter, right where it all solidified.
It really was. And those dates, taken together, they show this incredibly rapid, very deliberate transformation from just a strategic point on a map to the absolute, undisputed center of this new political power emerging in India.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you, our listener? Raigad Fort, clearly, was so much more than just rocks and ramparts.
Oh, much more. The sources nail it when they call it the beating heart of Swarajya.
The beating heart, I like that.
It truly embodied Maratha pride. It was their administrative center, their military stronghold, a symbol of their cultural heritage, all rolled into one. That coronation in 1674, that wasn't just a party. It was the moment the Maratha Empire officially stepped onto the world stage.
A declaration.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, doesn't it? How does a physical place, a fort built on a hill, become such a powerful, living symbol for a whole nation, representing their identity, their aspirations, even centuries later?
That's a deep question.
It is. And maybe what lessons can we learn from that vision? The vision and the sheer execution that took Rairi, a semi-ruined fort, and turned it into Raigad, the majestic capital.
A really powerful thought to end on. The enduring legacy of a place transformed by vision and will. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Raigad's incredible story. We hope to keep exploring these fascinating intersections of history with us.